Supervisory leadership and the management of
Leadership is the ability to guide and influence the opinions, attitudes, and behaviors of others. If a supervisor must rely on the authority of a title to get work done, that supervisor is not positively influencing employees. The real test of leadership is whether subordinates follow. Several different thoughts on leadership have been identified and discussed in this chapter. The common thread is that managers must develop a culture in which subordinates buy into the company's purpose and values. President Truman defined leadership as the ability to get people to do what they don't like to do and like it. Warren Bennis categorized 4 things that people want from their leaders: direction, trust, hope, and results. Stephen Covey believes that the principle of alignment is essential for developing high trust. James Kouzes and Barry Posner believe that successful leaders exhibit a series of 5 practices: challenging the process, inspiring a shared vision, enabling others to act, modeling the way, and encouraging the heart. The delegation process is one way to empower employees by giving them greater responsibility and authority to do certain tasks. Employees who accept delegated tasks must also be accountable for those actions. They must be responsible to the supervisors to do the job as required. Of course, the supervisor is still ultimately responsible to his or her own boss for everything that happens in their department, but no supervisor could or should do all the work themselves. Delegation involves 3 components: 1, assigning duties to subordinates; 2, granting them authority; and 3, creating responsibility on the part of the employee to perform the assigned duties well. There are several reasons, some valid and some not valid, why supervisors might choose to not delegate authority. Some of these reasons are based on the supervisor's fears. Fears the employee will make mistakes, fear of becoming unnecessary. Others are based on thinking the employees are not competent, shortage of qualified employees, or if I want it done right, I have to do it myself. Also, delegation can be difficult if employees simply don't want added authority, or if delegation is not a supported part of the corporate culture. There are 2 major types of benefits that supervisors can realize through appropriate delegation. 1, delegating authority to employees encourages employees to develop self-confidence and experience, which contributes to employee motivation and better job performance. 2, supervisors who delegate appropriately have more time to concentrate on their own tasks. The autocratic or authoritarian approach to supervision requires supervisors to detail specific instructions and then closely watch employees to ensure compliance. This style generally relies on formal authority, threats, pressure, and close control, and it assumes that employees are more money-oriented, lazy people who only respond to disciplinary threats. This is a Theory X assumption about people. Although this approach is sometimes necessary for new or inexperienced employees and some routine repetitive tasks, or those that require additional prodding, many supervisors today have abandoned this approach. The participative approach is one in which supervisors allow employees to influence and share organizational decision-making. This approach has several important advantages, including employee empowerment, increased decision-making skill on the part of the employees, and the additional time it gives supervisors in order to do their own managerial jobs. In short, most employees prefer the participative supervisor approach since it allows them freedom and discretion to do their work, but it also requires time and commitment to implement it successfully. When introducing change to employees, supervisors should provide enough information that employees can understand the reasons for the change. Allowing employees participation in the decision-making process will also encourage employee acceptance of a particular change. When proposing change to higher management, supervisors should first do their homework and giving enough information so that it can be presented in a way that shows higher management its benefits. Other supervisors affected by the change should be consulted to gain their input and commitment. When all the groundwork has been done, the supervisor must then take the necessary time and effort to write a formal proposal and perhaps also to make a formal presentation about the proposal if asked. The true test of a leader is whether or not they can get others to follow them. It's important to remember that regardless of the title or position a person holds, anyone can act as a leader and influence others. Even the greatest CEOs and managers agree that leadership can be developed. The ability to lead is generally something that can be learned. Effective leadership depends on good communication. Other important factors include the nature of the work environment, the size of the work group, and the type of people involved. Effective leaders must understand the expectations and needs of employees while also assessing the demands of the job situation and then acting appropriately. Warren Bennis has identified 4 things that people want from their leaders. Direction. People want leaders to have a purpose. 2. Trust. People want their leaders to have integrity, maturity, and candor. Hope. Leaders believe in something and they inspire optimism in others. And finally, people want results. They want the accomplishment of difficult tasks. Stephen R. Covey believes that trust binds management, labor, employees, customers, suppliers, and stakeholders. Leadership is a learned skill, a set of particular practices, versus the idea that someone is born a great leader. The effective leader provides direction, instruction, guidance, support, feedback, recognition for a job well done, and enthusiastic help. Contingency style leadership states that no one leadership style is best. The appropriate style depends on a multitude of factors.